You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the January 13th, 2025 meeting of the Michigan City Redevelopment Commission. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Okay, you're on.
All righty. I'll call this meeting to order. This is Monday, January 13th, 2025. The time is 5, our local time. This is the first regular meeting. Well, no, it isn't our first regular meeting. It's our first regular meeting. It's our first regular meeting of the Redevelopment Commission for January in 2025. Our first order of business today is I'm going to call the roll. Our roll call is, do we call roll or do we just go skip down to election?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Our first order of business today is call roll. Miss Cherie Wilson.
Here.
Mr. Bill Gertner. Here. Miss Tracy Tillman.
Present.
Miss Sheila Matthias.
Present.
Mr. Tom Domkowski.
Present.
Clarence Hulse. See Clarence, let's let him get up here. Clarence Hulse.
Here.
Great. All right. So we do have a full commission today. Our third order of business today is election of officers. At this time, I will take nomination for president.
I would like to nominate Sheila Matthias for president.
Second.
Never mind. Sheila, do you want to serve?
Yes, I would.
I'll call for the roll. Is there anyone? Are there any other nominations? Well, we do have a second. Yeah.
Clarence, second.
Any other nominations? Hearing none, I'll close nominations for president, and I'll call the roll. Do I need to call roll? Ms. Tillman.
Aye.
Ms. Wilson. Mr. Gertner.
Aye.
Ms. Matthias.
Aye.
Mr. Clarence. Mr. Holtz. All right. Sheila, take it over. You steer it. You drive it much better than I do.
I've been at this a little bit longer than you, that's all. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for the honor of serving as president for my second year here. Next on the agenda for our meeting, we have the minutes from our executive session from December 9th, 2024. I would entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from 12/9/2024, 12/30/2024 for a special meeting as well.
I second.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry, I was distracted. Did you do all three of them at the same time? Okay, thank you. We have a motion, a second to approve the minutes for the executive session of 12/9/24, the regular meeting from 12/9/24, and we had a special meeting on 12/30/24. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Right.
Motion has been approved. We're going to back up just a second for continuing the election of officers. We have two other positions that need to be filled. Do I have a nomination for vice president?
Sherry Wilson.
We have a nomination for Sherry Wilson for vice president. Do I have a second?
Support.
Okay, support. We have a motion and a second for Sherry Wilson for vice president. Do we have any other nominations? I will. Are there any other nominations? Sherry, will you accept the position if approved?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. All those, sorry, I'm going to do the roll call. William Gertner?
Aye.
Clarence Hulse?
Aye.
Sheila Brilson-Matthias? Aye. Tracy Tillman?
Aye.
Sherry Wilson?
Aye.
Okay. Sherry, you are lucky for one more time. Thank you. Next, we have election of secretary for the Redevelopment Commission. I would open the floor for nominations.
I would like to nominate Clarence Hulse.
We have a nomination for Clarence Hulse for secretary. Do we have a second?
Support.
Support. Are there any other nominations? Clarence, if approved, would you accept the position of secretary?
Yes.
Thank you. Closing the nominations for secretary. Clarence Hulse is our candidate. William Gertner,
Aye.
Clarence Hulse,
Aye.
Sheila Brelson Matias, aye. Tracy Tillman,
Aye.
Sherry Wilson.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Congratulations, Mr. Hulse. You have the big job of secretary. Thank you.
Give me your pen.
Thanks. Next on the agenda, we have the claims from January 2025. Skylar, will you do us a favor?
Yes, give me 1 second and get organized here. What did I do with mine? I apologize.
That's okay. We'll do claims first and then financial report next.
Found it. All right. 1 second. Sorry, I was organizing other things. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
There we go. Back organized. Got it. All right, this is the claims for January 13th, 2025. Our payroll for December 2024, we had CDBG reimbursables, staff and commissioners. From our operating account, we had the City of Michigan City accounting fees for 2024, Downtown ID Exchange, which is a subscription for 3/1/2025 through 3/1/2026. Great America, which is our copier fees for December 2024, Cyrenac Law Offices for legal retainer for 2024. The North TIF, we had August MAC for 2023 activities at the former Begley Concord, 9/30/2024 through 10/26/2024. We had August MAC for 2023 activities, former Begley Concord, for 10/28/2024 through 11/24/24. Barnes and Thornburg for legal for redevelopment and economic matters ending in 11/30/2024. Barnes and Thornburg for legal Bloxham arbitration ending in 11/30/2024. Butler, Fairman, and Seifert for engineering for Washington Park Boulevard streetscape. City of Michigan City for transfer of funds from North TIF interest to operating for salaries. MS Consultants for MC Operations Audit, pay 3 through 8/25/24.
Oh.
We had a NICD payment for the station block, which is to AECom.
Okay.
Cyrenac Law Offices, legal North TIF, December 2024. The Chicago Consultant Studio for consulting at 5th and Pond Street Development. U.S. Bank for lease payment for 2023 mixed-use transit project bond. From the South TIF, we had City of Michigan City transfer of funds from South TIF interest into operating for salaries. Global Engineering for engineering, CCMG 2024-1 or 12/1/24 through 12/31/24. This is the final pay for that. 2019 refunded Lafayette Barker bond. We had U.S. Bank for administration fees 11/1/24 through 10/31/25. 2023 mixed use transit project bond. We had Flaherty and Collins, which was a disbursement request for 13 from construction account. In 2019 double track project bond, we had U.S. Bank for administration fees 11/1/24 through 10/31/25.
Thank you so much. Are there any comments or questions about our claims for January 13, 2025? I would entertain a motion to approve the claims as presented.
So move.
Support.
We have a motion and a motion of support for the claims for January 13, 2025. Thank you for reminding me about the voice vote. William Gertner,
Aye.
Clarence Hulse,
Aye.
Sheila Brelson Matias, aye. Tracy Tillman, Sherry Wilson.
Aye.
Claims have been accepted as presented. I'm going to go back up just a moment because apparently we did not do a voice vote for our minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and redo that vote. This is for approval. We had a motion and a second to approve the three sets of minutes 12/9/24, 12/9, executive session 12/9/24, the regular meeting, and 12/30 where we had a special meeting. We had a motion and a second, so I'm just going to call the vote to approve the minutes as presented. William Gertner,
Aye.
Clarence Hulse,
Aye.
Sheila Brosa Matias, aye. Tracy Tillman,
Aye.
Sherry Wilson.
Aye.
Okay. How do we do, Debbie? Okay, thanks. Just for those of you that, if someone, member of the board of the commission is not present in the room, we have to do voice votes, and it's hard to remember that every time we vote because we usually have everyone here, which is nice. All right, next on our agenda, we have a presentation and approval of the financial report for November 30th, 2024. Tyler?
Yes, this is the balance sheet for 11/30/2024. In our cash accounts, we have operating account. We have $33,110.77. In our Southside TIF account, we have $7,409,458.72. In our Southside TIF debt reserve account, we have $336,308.50. In our Southside TIF capital account, we have $16,199.79. In our North End TIF account, we have $2,098,791.17. In our East Side TIF, we have $533,157.45. In our Northeast TIF account, we have $902,965.32. In our loans receivable in our county business loan fund, we have $94,829.59 for total assets of $11,424,821.31.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments on the balance sheet for the department? I would entertain a motion to accept the financial report as presented.
I'll make the motion to accept the financial report as presented for November 30th,
Second.
2024.
Second.
Great. We have a motion and a second to accept the financial report from 11/30/2024. Bill Gertner,
Aye.
Clarence Hulse,
Aye.
Sheila Brosa Matias, aye. Tracy Tillman,
Aye.
Sherry Wilson.
Aye.
The financial report has been accepted unanimously. Next, we have public comments. Are there any members of the public who would like to speak at this time?
Hi, this is Tommy Kolovic from 1316 Ohio Street. Happy New Year, Redevelopment Commissioners. And we congratulate Mr. Skylar York on his new position as Redevelopment Director. And I'm really here to support the request for the funding for 2302 East Michigan Boulevard. That's the Hearts and Hands Preschool Academy. Actually, my sister, she's the owner of that establishment. She's done a great job of fixing it. She took the old Phonics building at Michigan Boulevard on Calumet. She got that daycare up and running like well-oiled machine. She's a real talented woman. The people I know, I just want to find out a little bit more about this quiet zone. I don't know if we're going to have what's going to be the CSX or the Amtrak tracks now. We're going to a quiet zone. I know we already got the South Shore. I do have some reservations about that. It just so happens that I was the South Shore on passenger on the train. We were in 2 train versus vehicle accidents. You don't want to be a passenger on the train where there's a train versus vehicle accident. You almost get the feeling like the train's going to jump off the tracks and derail. And it's just horrible. One time it happened right there at the intersection of Highway 12 and Porter County Line Road. That's real bad there. You got just about a 20-yard gap between the freight lines and the South Shore tracks. And the people got trapped in between. Hopefully, the one person had to be airlifted to the hospital, and the other 3 people in the car were okay. And the other time we were on the way back, I was coming home from a sporting event. It was a really windy night, and they both happened 3 months apart from each other in 2021. It happened right at 111th and a Cottage Grove there on the south side of Chicago. The train hit a Metro service worker's truck. Fortunately, there weren't no service workers in the truck. They were clearing some debris off of the tracks at the time. They went out and looked at the train, and it was okay, so we just continued on in Chicago. They called the Chicago Fire and Police Department to clear the wreckage. And now when I was working at ANCO, I believe this is back when you were the mayor. We had a real bad accident. There were 3 of my co-workers. They were Macedonian ladies. they were coming into work at Anco, and it was coming at 5 o'clock in the morning, and their carpool had a train versus vehicle accident. Our supervisor right there, Craig Kearns, was our supervisor. He pulled the ladies out of the minivan. So this when I mentioned all that, and I think we spent like $200,000 for the South Shore Quiet Zone. So if that's what you want to do, I guess that's what we'll do. But I really just thank all the train staff to keep blowing their horns. Thank you.
Thanks so much for your thoughts. Are there any other members of the public who would like to speak at this time?
Hello, Board. Happy New Year. Scott
Thank you.
Mellon, 200 Kenwood Place. Briefly, I'm in support of quiet zones for the CSX. I didn't know that was under debate. I think that's a quality of life issue that actually helps move the city forward in what we're trying to be. But I'm actually here to speak today based on the special meeting of December 9th and the TIF creations, or the approval of TIF creations for Tryon Meadows. I'm somewhat disappointed, actually, that there was a special meeting. I do my best to attend meetings, but I wasn't aware of that. I've reviewed it on ALCO, so I've watched it. It just seems, please don't take offense, but it seems a little unseemly to have a special meeting where we approve things of that nature. I'm very pro-development. I'm in real estate. I'm almost considered a developer, a financier, so I'm very pro-development. But as much as we want new housing in this town, I don't think we need to give away the store. Developers need to develop, and we have a need for development. That's a market that we shouldn't need to subsidize, in my opinion. For example, the subdivision going in by the high school off Paws Road has no subsidy. They're doing it the old-fashioned way. They're paying for it. My question is, why do we need 3 new TIFs for this housing development, which is being built for profit? They plan on holding those 144 rentals themselves. As you all know, TIFs don't benefit the general fund for 20 years. And it creates an obligation for the city because we build the road and the sewer and the water that we have to then maintain for the next, well, in perpetuity, but for those 20 years. I understand this is workforce development, which they're trying to meet a price point that meets a certain federal metric of 80 to 120% of whatever that metric is. If we're going to give them tips and subsidize their infrastructure, how about we ask for more? You have to give to get. Why don't we get some affordable housing in there? You know, that meets 60% of that metric instead of 80%. It's a big get. They're asking for, my guess is about $5 million of infrastructure. So maybe we should get a percentage for low-income housing in there. If all the new development in town, Sola, the 11th Street Station, Tryon Meadows, if they're all in TIF districts, we're still going to have budget problems for the next 20 years. Again, I'm very pro-development, but I think these developers who are building 200-odd units, I think they can afford to do it on their own. As the financial presentation from Mr. York just gave, you guys have $11 million sitting in TIF funds. And, you know, I know you're doing good things with it, but at the same time, I think we need to balance our need for development with giving away the store. Other people have spoken in the past that we give away too much. Now, we do have a reputation for being somewhat difficult to work with, but at the same time, developers need to develop, and there's a need here. There's a meeting there, and I don't think we should make everything a TIF because that's going to create other financial burdens in the city over time. Thank you very much for hearing my concerns. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public who wish to speak at this time? Hearing none, let's go on and start our conversation on facade grants. The first one, I believe, Kyle, you're going to do some presentations. My only request is when we put these things on the agenda, I would love, because the public reads these, I would love us to put in parentheses DBA, doing business as, so when someone in the public sees this, they know what we're talking about. I think that would be helpful. Thank you.
Okay. Tim, you're first. You
Yeah,
come up.
The first one is the release of funds for 113 West 8th Street for 30,000.
Yes. So I'm here with Ella Salon, Sam, commonly known. So he has now he has completed the work that he has submitted for. So initially he had submitted on September the 9th, 2024's meeting for $13,000 and is now coming back for the second round of reimbursement for 17,000 for a total of 30,000. I've reviewed the work personally, and he meets all the requirements. So I just asked for you guys to approve the recommendation of the final 17,000 to equal the total 30,000 allotted.
Looks really good too, Sam.
Thanks. You did a good job.
Excellent. And ton of blank.
Sam, do you want to say anything?
I just want to say thanks again. The city's been great working on this project. Every step of the way, it's been a pretty smooth process, so I really appreciate that and look forward to other projects, hopefully in the future. Maybe something a little more beautiful than behind the brick structure, development. Right. Just can't be it.
Beauty's in the eye of the beholder, right? Shall we take a vote then on just that, each one separately?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that makes sense.
Okay.
Thank you for keeping and staying invested in downtown Michigan City. It's really important. Thank you.
Yeah, so you're an example of a small business that's thriving and we want to support that. So thank you. So I would entertain a motion to approve the release of funds for 113 West 8th Street.
I would like to make the motion to release the funds for 113th West 8th Street, commonly known as El Salon.
We need a second?
I'll second.
Okay, great. We have a motion and a second to release the funds for the El Salon at 113 West 8th Street. William Gertner,
Aye.
Clarence Hulse,
Aye.
Sheila Brooks Matthias, aye. Tracy Tillman,
Aye.
Sherry Wilson.
Aye.
You have unanimous support, so thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Have a good night. Yeah.
Next, we have release of funds for 320 East 2nd Street for $30,000.
So this comes from Wake Robbins. They previously came in front of you guys at the March 11th, 2024 redevelopment meeting, where they requested 30,000. The work has now been completed, and now I'm asking to provide a reimbursement for the work that they have completed.
Okay, do you have anything you want to know?
I have nothing to add to it.
This is the Ritz Club?
No, this is Wake Robin. This is how do I explain this one, Kyle? It's near the it's part of Pioneer Pier development. It was formerly an older building that they basically have rehabbed the exterior. Won't tell a little bit about the things they did there. You know more about it than I do.
Yes, so it was, I think it's not quite a hotel.
It does, it has some long-term rooms in it, and that I think they use it as rentals in there. But it was sort of, I would use this lightly, sort of unsightly, but it's definitely been made to look nice now. So
I remember Mr. Radke was here to speak to them.
yes. Dan came before us, and
Right.
I would say it's a much needed improvement. And Dan has been working really hard on. He's got a lot of older buildings over there, and he's been working diligently over the years to kind of make them look more attractive and things of that nature.
Great. I would entertain a motion for the release of funds for 320 East 2nd Street for $30,000.
I'd like to make a motion to release the funds for 320 East 2nd Street for $30,000.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve the release of funds for 320 East 2nd Street. William Gertner,
Aye.
Clarence Hulse,
Aye.
Sheila Brolson Matthias, aye. Tracy Tillman,
Aye.
Sherry Wilson.
Aye.
Thank you. That release has been approved unanimously. Next on the agenda, we have partial release of funds for 1901 Franklin Street for $15,000.
Let's get the owners up here so they can also tell you the name of their business, and I don't want to steal their thunder. Thanks for being here tonight too.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks a lot
Hi there.
for having us.
If you could just tell us who you are, because people that are listening won't know who you are.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm Kyle Hutchison. This is my partner, Spencer Herms. So he's here to introduce himself. He is our chef here at the Cellar Door. So 1901 Franklin, the old Harmony Bar location. And we just wanted to say that we are preparing to launch here shortly. We have our website up and running, so cellardoorbar.com, and at the Cellar Door Bar on Instagram. Watch the space. We'll be releasing our menus, open dates, things like that shortly. So keep an eye on those spaces. And yeah, just want to say thank you to Skylar, Kyle, and everyone on your teams, Clarence, of course, and everyone in your office. You guys have been integral in getting us from the idea phase. It's been almost 2 years now to where we are today, getting ready to roll out. So us being a truly family-owned operation, we don't have corporate backing. We're not a big restaurant group. It's us. We're college roommates, and so these types of programs really help and make it I don't want to say easier, but it alleviates some of the problems that arise on such a huge project and large undertaking. Our building was built in 1861, so rehabbing such a thing, you can imagine, is extremely fun. And yeah, anything that you wanted to add, Spencer? Like I said, he's my chef. He's here today.
Good brief. I just want to thank
You
Clarence.
could speak at the microphone, just quick. Thank you.
I want to thank Clarence and Skylar specifically. They've been helping us a lot along the way, and then everything else going on with the council here. This facade money has really enabled us to help improve everything on the exterior of the building, and make that more of a priority rather than say, let's just get open, fix the inside, let it still look horrible on the outside. This has really helped us tighten up the building a lot and get it in a lot better shape.
Well, when we saw the lights on, we were excited. And then when we saw the sign go up, we were really excited. And then when the door went up, we got really excited. So it's looking good, looking good.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited for you guys to all come enjoy it soon. And next time you drive by, check out, we have the door handles up and some
I missed that detail, sorry.
vintage Coke glass too that was
Nice.
exposed, that was hidden.
Okay.
So yeah, always something fun to find out.
That's great. All right, I would entertain a motion to approve the partial release of funds for 1901 Franklin Street, the former Harmony Bar, now called the Cedar Door Bar.
Cellar.
Cellar Door,
Cellar Door.
sorry, Cellar Door Bar.
I'd like to make the motion to release the partial funds for 1901 Franklin, also known as the Cellar Door.
I'll second.
Great, we have a motion and a second. Mr. Gertner,
Aye.
Clarence Hulse,
Aye.
Sheila Brilson Matias, aye. Tracy Tillman,
Aye.
Sherry Wilson.
Aye.
Your support is unanimous. Congratulations. Thank you so much. We're looking forward to
Thank you,
your
guys.
opening. Next on the agenda, we have a request for funding for 2302 East Michigan Boulevard for $30,000.
So so let's see. So this one is a little bit different than our typical ones because the individual did the work prior to coming in front of us. So the decision will obviously be up to you guys in terms of how you handle it. But Hearts and Hands Preschool Academy Inc. Essentially is requesting a forgivable loan for the $30,000 for the work that has been completed. This has included new windows, doors, lighting, siding, as well as signage for a total cost of the project of $105,000. Even though the work has been completed before they came in front of you guys, which is generally not recommended, the board does have the ability to approve the funding as a result.
Also want to clarify, the tool didn't exist when they did this. The tool wasn't in place on Michigan Boulevard until you guys did the expansion of the district, or I'm sorry, of the TIF district. So it is a little bit of a unique situation in that this person was literally investing without any tools there, which is, thank you for doing that. But it wasn't that they didn't, the tool didn't exist, so they couldn't come before us because it didn't exist. So I think now having the tool there, it's important for us to have the tool on Michigan Boulevard. That's why we were trying to get it over there. I just wanted to clarify that it wasn't that they didn't come to us, that it just, the opportunity didn't exist at the time. So I'll leave it at that.
Thank you. Are there any comments or questions?
Madam President, just a quick comment. How do we, I'm not opposed to doing this. I'm just concerned about what's the look back period from the expansion to, if we have someone coming 20 years later and saying,
Yeah.
hey, that's my only concern.
It's a great question. I think that's for you guys to determine. I would say that the timing was probably just not, as we weren't being as quick with it. The timing of all this was kind of going on simultaneously. Had we had the facade grant in place at the time, I'm sure that they would have obviously taken advantage of it. I would also add that, the service that they provide, I think maybe has a little weight in there too. It is a commercial daycare. Clarence can speak to the need for daycare around here. We do need them. This is probably one of the first commercial daycares we've permitted. Most of them are in homes that are much smaller. This is a commercial drop-off daycare. It's on the boulevard. It's in an area that actually has the need. Gosh, what else could I say? I think that there's some weights that are in there, that may play.
Skylar, what's the time frame? Is it 2 years? Or how long has it been since they?
It's probably been about a year.
Yeah, about a year. It's been about a year.
I mean, I would be open to look back 2 years, but for me, the biggest thing that would want to go back and approve would be because of the public benefit. It does benefit the TIF in terms of what it provides, the lack of daycare. Just a regular business, I'd have a much more difficult issue, but this does provide a public benefit to other benefits within the TIF, other businesses within the TIF. So.
Yeah, I would also add that they did get all the permits, because I know that our department worked very closely with them, even giving them to the point of guidance and trying to help them get open as much as we could. I know Sue worked heavily on that, and Kyle worked on it as well. I just would say they followed the rules regardless of whether or not they got the facade grant. They did follow the rules and pulled their permits. So,
Are there any other comments or questions? Tracy?
Thank you. I would just like to add, that is within my 5th ward, Michigan Boulevard, and actually 2 blocks away from where I reside. And to see from Phoenix to where it is now, and to see them in there, they were in, day out, late hours, and to see what it has become today, that is a great need for the community in that area. And it actually has also brightened up that corner. I love the artwork, the daycare artwork that's on there. And I just hope that this is something that we would be able to approve and vote on. And as Clarence said, maybe if we could change that language, to go back 2 years for those, including this one, for the facade grant.
Thank you, Tracy. Any other comments or questions?
Man, I would also say you got some other stopgap mechanisms. If the 2 years is what you put in there, it's also, okay, did you get your permits? Did you pay for the permits? Did you do it correctly? I mean, there are some other things that make a difference, if you will, with respect to just anyone coming in. There's going to always be the questions that Kyle probably have to answer for you guys. Right. So.
Sure. And for me, again, it would be the public benefit, because you don't want to open the can of worms too big, but the public benefit is key.
Yeah, I would agree with Clarence. The public benefit daycare for working parents is a tough issue, and So the public benefit is there. In addition, they invested over $100,000. Daycare isn't the most like quick profit business, so that shows that they've invested in the city, they've invested in the neighborhood, they've invested in the Fifth Ward, as Tracy mentioned, and the Boulevard is starting to look really great. So that's a nice addition to it. So I would be able to support that. Do we have a motion and a second?
I would like to make a motion that we accept the request for funding for 2302 East Michigan Boulevard for $30,000.
I support.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to support the request for funding for 2302 East Michigan Boulevard for $30,000. Bill Gertner,
Aye.
Clarence Hulse. We have you, Clarence?
Aye.
Okay.
I thought he was frozen there for a minute.
Yeah. Sheila Gross Matias, aye. Tracy Tillman,
Aye.
Sherry Wilson.
Aye.
This has received unanimous support, so please congratulate the business owners for us. Thank you. All right, we are finished with that section. Thank you. Next, we have number 9 on the agenda: approval of funding for the local match and engineering in the amount of $600,000 for the 2025-1 Community Crossings Matching Grant, CCMG.
You want me to take it? Yeah, I'll take it. Okay, cool. So this is a request. Where every year we do CCMG, which is Community Crossing Matching Grant. It is a state fund that is available. As of recently, they upped it from 1 million to $1.5 million. And historically, when they did that, we get about $1 million in MVH every year, motor vehicle funds that come back to the city. The thought is like, it basically is, let's take full advantage of the $1.5 million, and this is the way we can make up that $1.5 million. The extra, theoretically, I know that it's usually 500, and then 100 grand would be used to cover we want to plug in our engineering costs into that as well. So hence the $600,000 ask. Mr. Tim Warner is working on this project right now. I did ask him for a list of streets. He said that I caught him on his way home. I'm sorry, I should have asked him earlier, but he said that he can make that available to us. But I believe council has already reviewed or has a list of the streets. If I'm not mistaken, Tracy, I'm looking at you. Have y'all seen the streets? Or have y'all just approved the funding mechanism?
The funding mechanism.
Okay. So the mechanism's been approved through council, and this would be our mechanism to provide the extra support so that we can tap the $1.5 million to make sure that we're getting full benefit of the CCMG program. The other thing, Alan, you want to ask a question? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, a couple of things. Just one is we have done this, provide the match, I want to say, for at least the last 3 or 4 years, and maybe I'm being short on that, but we've been doing that for a while. And the benefit to the city obviously relates to the redevelopment, given the fact that you need to have solid infrastructure, particularly in this case roads, to continue for the overall development and enhancement of the city and the image of the city. So the question really, and we really will get down to that from the viewpoint once we identify the streets. But even if they don't, presumably most of them are going to be within a TIF within the city. Those that are not within the TIF will have direct access and direct bearing on the TIF, which again is something that we have done in years prior. So again, I this is not what you would call a normal type of thing that falls within the city, but rather this does relate and correlates directly with redevelopment within the city and is a necessary tool for Michigan City going forth, and falls very much within the obligations of the redevelopment commission.
Yes, and a lot of these roads either pass through, connect to, or part of, I would say, some TIF, some in a manner. The segments are split out in different ways of how we have to choose them, but the majority of them pass through, traverse, whatever word you want to use, a TIF.
So I just want to clarify for the public's benefit that community crossings grant money is used for paving streets. Those streets are monitored by the street department, but the scoring of them is done by a team including our city engineer. So it's not just, we just don't
Yes.
pick random streets that somebody's friend lives on. They're scored, and, basically the engineer is in charge of making the final call on the streets that need to be repaired. If there is a member of the public that does have a street that they think has been missed, you're welcome to call City Hall and leave that street so someone can take a look at it. But it is a scoring process. It's very much a legitimate scoring of streets. They're graded on their longevity of the asphalt.
And
Yeah.
I was just gonna, if I could add, the scoring is called the PACER.
PACER, and it's a 1 to 10 rating, and 5, 6 belows are really where you start getting into, okay, they need to be replaced.
Yep. Thank you. Okay, so next, we need to take our vote on that. So, pardon me? Yeah, so we need a motion for approval of the funding for the local match in the amount of $600,000 for the 2025 Community Crossings Grant. I would entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Great. We have a motion, a second. Bill Gertner,
Aye.
Clarence Hulse.
Aye.
I'll presume that was an aye. Yeah. Thank you. Good. Perfect. Sheila Brilson Matias, aye. Tracy Tillman.
Aye.
Sherry Wilson.
Aye.
Great. We have approval, unanimous approval for the local match and engineering in the amount of $600,000 for the CCMG grant. Thank you. Next, we have a discussion on the quiet zone approval. So I think you're going to take that.
Scott, and I'll take together.
Yeah.
First of all, I want to say, though, Tommy, one of those rare cases, no matter what profession you're in, but when you actually do something and research something, and lo and behold, when you were talking about public safety, I learned something today when it comes to these quiet zones, compared to, I'm going to guess, when the quiet zones were in place, or they weren't in place when you were talking about the accidents you had. But in researching on the quiet zone and how this does relate to redevelopment, one of the requirements that the federal government and the state government, as well as the railroads themselves, require for quiet zone or approval for a quiet zone is enhancements to the overall area than you would have if you weren't in a quiet zone. Specifically, better lighting, more durable crossings, things of those nature. And then going back 10 or 15 years on the whole idea of quiet zones, when railroads were adamantly opposed to it, suddenly now we've seen an emergence or an evolving of quiet zones being used as redevelopment or as development tools. One, because of, as Scott mentioned, with respect to the quiet enjoyment of property. But the second thing right along with that then is it encourages development in closer proximity to train tracks. They do so confidently knowing that there have been enhanced safety measures than it would be, say, for a train crossing that was not in a quiet zone. So, it's just like I'm listening to you talk on that, and I'm thinking, my God, I'm right on point on this. So nicely done. But having gone through all that, and I think if we can just incorporate that as a matter of record, but the benefits as it relates to economic development for putting a quiet zone in is that it does reduce noise pollution. And clearly, the objective of the city has been in making the quiet zone from, this goes almost to Carroll Avenue, but the entire quiet zone.
So the full quiet zone is shared into Carroll Ave. This specific request tonight is for the section, will cover the section from Michigan Boulevard, Vale Street, where it crosses, to Carroll.
And again, this is not so much an application for a quiet zone because all of that work has already been done. This is more from the viewpoint of paying for the services and getting that done. But anyway, with reduced noise pollution, there also becomes an improved quality of life. Research shows there's also been a correlation with economic development, with both business and residents moving to the areas in close proximity to rail lines, resulting in increased economic activity. And finally, as I mentioned before, the issue of public safety, requiring additional safety features at each crossing, upgraded gates and signals, which again, you would not ordinarily have with a quiet zone. So as we were talking, that the city has already made application for this. They've already been approved for the quiet zones for the areas that Skylar just mentioned. The issue before you tonight, though, is the paying for the services to get this quiet zone approved. And we've received an invoice from NICD for the amount of $64,912 for that extra stretch for the work that has already been performed.
So this is for Vale Street to Carroll Ave. Correct. Okay.
And basically what you're doing, even though it's not in the claims docket yet, you're being asked to approve an expenditure of $64,912 for all the work and services covered to get the quiet zone approved.
Okay. Thank you.
And there won't be another pay.
What's that?
This is it.
Are there any questions or comments from anyone on the commission? I would entertain a motion to approve the expenditure of $64,912 as the final quiet zone approval for Vale Street to Carroll Ave.
Motion to support.
Second.
Great. We have a motion and a second to support the quiet zone approval for Vale Street to Carroll Ave. Bill Gertner.
Aye.
Clarence Hulse.
Aye.
Sheila Gross Matias. Aye. Tracy Tillman.
Aye.
Sherry Wilson.
Aye.
Great. Motion has been approved unanimously. Next on the agenda, we have the approval of the revised 2025 salary order.
I'm gonna let you do this one.
We've talked about this a number of times, so
Yeah.
this is the final go, right?
This is the third attempt.
Third time's the charm.
And actually, it's the third attempt that incorporates what you approved the first time and what you approved the second time.
Yes.
And then as we have approved each one, we find out something different has happened. So basically, the salary order, setting salaries for employees of the Department of Redevelopment is still being used in accordance with the resolution that was approved back on December 9th as it relates to the utilization of non-TIF money for operational expenses for the Redevelopment Commission, which, as you may recall, TIF money itself cannot be used for operational expenditures by statute, but there is no such prohibition for income that has been derived from TIF income, specifically, or as the easiest example would be interest and from savings for deposits of TIF fund. So the salary order, 2025 salary order continues to include the executive director and the business manager to be paid for by the non-TIF revenue, and also the assistant planner. Yes, for those for the Redevelopment Commission, as well as the facade grant administrator partial salary of that. However, because of the requirements of CDBG, which has previously provided the partial funding for these positions, we also need to approve that as well. So the total salary order includes those positions as well as CDBG director and the housing rehab specialist for total, I'm sorry, and I neglected one area, the budgeted for the 5 commissioners for your tenure on the commission will also be paid for out of the NTR non-TIF revenue money. The total expenditure for the salary order will be $344,768.79, but that is both combining what we approved previously, the non-TIF money, and also includes the money that has absolutely nothing to do with TIF, i.e. the CDBG funding. If that sounds like I've muddled through that and confused this even further, it's because I probably have. But basically what we've done in a nutshell is you're approving a budget for salaries related to and expenditures, operational expenditures related to the work of the Redevelopment Commission and the Department of Redevelopment in the amount of $344,768.79 to be paid for by non-TIF revenue, but also paid by other sources of revenue not directly related to TIF revenue.
Got it. Well done. I'm glad you had to explain that. Are there any comments, questions, or concerns on the salary order for $344,768.79?
Just one comment, question. The salaries proposed, they include benefits as well, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions or comments? I would entertain a motion to approve the salary order as presented.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the updated revised 2025 salary order.
Thank you. We have a
Second.
motion. Do we have a second? Tracy?
Second.
Oh, second, Clarence. Thank you. Bill Gertner,
Aye.
Clarence Hulse,
Aye.
Sheila Brooks Matias, aye. Tracy Tillman, Sherry Wilson.
Aye.
We have unanimous support for the salary order. Thank you. Next, we have this a SOLA update and any approvals that are needed.
There are no approvals for solar right now, other than just a quick update. You may recall before the first of the year, we approved a redevelopment agreement. That agreement stipulates that they have till June 30th to basically get everything started in the ground, broken ground for real, the shovels in the ground. They have been, I've been in contact with them just about once or twice, from that time point of approval. I've been in pretty much constant contact with them. They've been keeping me really up to date on what they're doing. There's a couple of things we're working through with to allow them to get their finances in place, which I've been working through with Alan and our attorney in Indy, Adam. They will be putting up a fence in short time, probably. It was supposed to go in this week. There's been a setback because they're actually doing, there's some AT&T things they're working with. There's fiber, and they got to make sure that they're putting it in the right location to allow the movement of this AT&T fiber. We have also started conversations with the respective utilities on movement of sanitary and water. And so there's things are, we're starting to move forward with things. So that's really good. That's the only update I have about solar right now.
Thank you. Anyone else? Any comments, questions? Thank you. Let's move on to 11th Street.
Everything's in order with that. I don't have any approvals or needed approvals. Just a quick update. I did visit the site. What day did I go there? I want to say I went there Thursday of last week. The facade, the historic facade has started being installed. It's actually really beautiful. There's a beautiful black granite at the bottom that's going to be where you would walk out. That was back in the day. That was a black terracotta. We got rid of that and added granite in that almost matches it, but the granite's a little bit more beefier. You can take salt, you can take bumping, things of that nature. But the facade is being put in as of right now. It's basically going in like a big puzzle. Everything's labeled and numbered, so it's basically just like color by number type thing. But it's really cool to see it start coming together. They also have the station framed out. So you can actually go in it. It's got a floor in it now. You can go in it and walk in, and it's framings up, windows. It's really nice to see it coming along. I know there's a little bit of setback in the opening time because it's been so cold with pouring concrete, things of that nature. But right now we're working on getting the lights, picking out some lights that are going to go, pedestrian lights, things of that nature. We have sign off on most of this stuff, so I have to go over there and visit from time to time. But other than that, that's just kind of a quick update. Things are coming right along. They really are pushing to get the station and the parking garage done, and then immediately jump on the tower. Although the tower, you are seeing things happen. They're not putting it on the back burner, but they want to really get the station to a point where they can really focus a little bit more heavily on the tower and get it going.
So I think there's an opportunity here for you to make, the public is really, really, really interested in that 11th Street station.
Sure.
What it looks like, what the time frame is. And so perhaps a call to the News Herald Dispatch or to the radio station to just give them a release of some kind with an update. Because people are, what you just said is really interesting, and we want to make sure that people know that there is progress, that the promise that was made is being kept, and that we're in good shape. I think that'd be really important. Any other comments or questions about 11th Street? Okay, let's move on. Report by our legal counsel.
The only thing else to add is that there was an executive session before this meeting tonight. No items were discussed that were not permitted by the open door law, and no decisions were made. And that's it.
Thank you. Skylar, any other reports or comments?
I don't have any. We'll just add that on your balance sheet in the near future, you will see a new line item, which will be our new TDD disbursements that's coming in. We've been notified by the comptroller that we will be getting our first payment from the state. This will be a direct payment from the state to the Redevelopment Commission for our Transit Development District, which is a special TIF that was created for the station. That's what allowed us to create this TIF. We're one of, I think, 8 communities that has it right now. And we will be getting our first payouts in March, and we'll get a payout every year in March, and it will go into a special account, and you will see it reflected in our balance sheet as we start getting it in.
That's great news. Any comments from commissioners? Other than Happy New Year to everyone. Our next meeting date has been changed from February 10th. Our next meeting will be on February 6th, which is a Thursday. So please mark your calendars. Any other comments or questions before we adjourn?
Same time.
Oh, yes, same time. Sorry. Same time. 5 o'clock on Thursday, February 6th. With no other comments or questions, the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.